Welcome to the Super Facts Show on the Super Facts Network, featuring St. Laz, who also hosts the popular web series Gem Pop, and music journalist Mark Ward. They have discussions about hip-hop, culture, society, philosophy, and everything else. Now available on YouTube and wherever else you get your podcasts.
What up, world? It's your boy Mark Ward, Nick Parrow, Super Fact Show, Sports Edition. As yet to be named, but number 2 with it. How you doing today, brother?
I'm good, man. Chilling. Looking forward to this game tonight.
Word. Hey, before, man, what you think of? Did you even give the Hawks a chance?
Hell yeah. Yo, I bet the Hawks the last 2 games. I didn't bet them against the Bucks.
Oh, I should have been clear. I meant against the Bucks.
Yeah. No, and that's why I did. I'll be honest. I saw 8, and I was like, man, I like that number for betting purposes because I thought it could be a close game, but I didn't have the cojones to fucking pull the trigger. So I'll say no, just because I thought
Actions speak louder than words.
Yeah, exactly. So, but part of me, I wasn't gonna. I'll tell you what, I was never gonna bet the Bucks -8. I was more likely to bet the Hawks, but I was like, I'll watch game 1. But I liked them against the Sixers. I bet on them the last 2 games. It's funny, at the little corner store that I bet on, homie behind me must have been betting the Sixers in game. It won game 7. It must have been game 6. And he was like, I heard him whisper to the guy behind him. He's like, man, this guy must know something.
Shit, there. I mean,
I did, but I was just like, I don't know, man. They look good.
I mean, yeah, bro. But like, one thing I saw, I'm well familiar with this Solomon Hill character, right? And I refuse a team can win in the Eastern Conference Finals if Solomon Hill is playing significant minutes.
Yo, and he's getting minutes over Tony Snell. Not saying that I mean those guys are on an equal platform, but I just think it's funny that Solomon Hill's getting burned over Tony Snell.
I mean, because when Tony Snell come in the game don't Tony Snell play from? Oh, that's Bobby Portis. I began to mix up. I didn't even know Tony Snell plays on the Hawks. I didn't really watch the Hawks till the play.
No, he was a starter for, I guess, when DeAndre Hunter and what's the other young swing they got were out. But anyway, yeah, he was playing. He probably started, I would say, like 25 games or more this year.
See, I knew that. Well, I ain't know like from knowledge, but from hearing it, that they say if the Hawks will be better next year just with getting Reddish and Hunter back. Hey, but let me ask you this, man. People always talk about some race shit, and I got an interesting racial question for you that there's no way that we can offend anybody by saying or answering. All right, this dude Herder, right? He's pretty nice.
I like him.
And like, you see how quick they gave that Bama a nickname, Red Velvet?
I mean, a white boy with red hair is always.
No. But I mean, it's a great nickname, but I got a bigger point to this. And you obviously are a white basketball fan, as I am myself. And they swear to God that we are so desperate to have a great American white basketball player. And I don't think I've ever even thought about it. Like not once am I like, oh, I hope Jimmy Fredette makes it because we got to have a white American that's good.
Nah, I agree. I don't care one way or another.
But that's always a narrative. They always be talking about that shit about how corporate America is so and mainstream America's. And I ain't never once heard anybody ever say that shit. Because if that shit was true, why wouldn't it apply to like, I don't know, like boxing and shit? Like boxing fans don't give a fuck if there's American white boxers.
I do know this. Hey, Utah Jazz and the Indiana Pacers, and not so much with the Celtics, but them 2 teams. I feel like it is mandatory. They gotta have like a above average white player on their team. I feel like the management is told, yo, get some type of white boy in here.
Yeah, but that's some old people shit. I'm talking about like people like, but you know who I blame for this shit a little bit, man? Motherfucking Jason Sehorn, because Jason Sehorn got way too popular than he should have, and everybody thought that was a bunch of white people rooting for an overrated dude.
Yeah, hey, but you could say like nowadays in the NFL, I know you don't follow NFL, but you know McCaffrey, dude, he's like the
he's not overrated. All I know about McCaffrey,
he's the stud like RB.
yeah,
I mean,
he's vicious, bro. Like you know, I'm into physical fitness, and like, how could you not, you know, be impressed with his accomplishments?
yeah, but nah, I don't know. I think that's more for like Utah or like the Pacers. I don't even mean to put them. I just like I think that whole like the white, you know, as like white basketball fans are starving for a white star. And first off, I don't even care if they're American. Like I fuck with Jokic, but I would fuck with him no matter what. I like the fact that he looks outish. He doesn't look like a baller. I think that's more of the thing. Like, you know, and he's like definitely like he could use some weight, you know, lose some weight, but he's just so fucking talented. Like,
Yeah,
so
man, that wild ass high arcing shot, that should be geeking me the fuck out.
I remember I went to see him play a few years back before he was really like when he was only catching steam,
Right.
like career with like really watched the game because me and my boy got cheap tickets to the Heat game when they were playing the Nuggets, and we got like 7 rows back, and we were kind of rooting for the Nuggets strictly for Jokic, and this guy next to him was like, "You like what's up with this dude, man?" I was like, "Yo, just watch, he's a star." And then look, fast forward 3-4 seasons, and the fucking MVP now.
Hey, let me ask you this, man, because you know it always comes back to the Wizards with me. You know, only in one aspect, like when he kind of post on the elbow, and he might turn around and shoot that kind of weird shot, or sometimes he kind of like give a dude a body and do like a kind of little like scoop running hook thing. You know, he remind me of like a graceful Anton Jameson just on those 2 little shots. Because Anton Jameson would do the same shit, but he'd be doing it off the wrong foot and like spinning the ball like a corkscrew or some shit.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
Man, you know, Anton Jameson, I still can't believe when he was on Dallas, he had 2 50-point games in a row. Like he's like the most unlikely motherfucker ever to do that shit.
Man, yeah, I don't know about most likely because there's some other awkward ones.
They did it two games in a row. I don't know the list off the top of my head. It's a short list.
2 games in a row.
Like just one time, there's some crazy people. Like you remember Willie Burton on the Heat did it on like the last game of the season. He's probably the most unlikely ever.
A funny one this year too, man. I can't recall who it was, but there was a funny 50-point score this year.
You think there's anything to like that? Like I think that's just kind of like how they be talking about that juice ball in baseball, but then stats don't bear it out. You think like that lack of crowds or the bubble or any of that shit really affected how good the offensive basketball was? I thought it was more that it takes a while to get an NBA game condition for defense, so that's why the bubble was so high scoring. And then I thought that they were so high scoring at the beginning of the year because their bodies had rest for the first time. Because mad at them teams was off for a minute,
Yeah.
And then now as attrition setting in, it's breaking down in the playoffs. I think a lot of times they put too much thought into shit when it's really just like who's not injured be deciding the title like a motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't check the stats up for themselves, but I'll just take LeBron at his word when he was saying, that more stars are hurt. I don't know, man. I still got an old school feel about all that shit. Like, man, if you're over 30, it's one thing. Like, you should rest a little bit. But man, if you're under 27, you could. For me, I know these guys could probably play 7 days a week.
I mean, they do in the summer. I mean, we used to, and there's no way we was in good a shape as NBA players. I mean, I was smoking jacks playing basketball 7 days a week.
And I know, like, see, the thing is too is we probably don't recognize that our like, we would be a little bit slower. Our jumper would be a little like we lose a percentage point or two. So I get why some like that's one sports science factor that we didn't take into account. But I feel like on a feel how we felt like playing if we played 7 days a week for 3-4 hours. I don't know. So I don't. Yeah, I think it was just unlucky. I mean, some of it I get shorter off season especially for a team like the Lakers who did it. Like they had the shortest off season, but I don't know. I'm not really I can't say buying it because if the facts are the facts, but I don't know. I think these guys are kind of babysat a little too much, man. Like,
I mean, yeah, but in another regard, Nick, if you look at it like scientifically, you gotta admit, like people are more athletic than they've ever been at greater heights, and there's more change of direction. So they are putting, while their muscles are getting stronger and their explosiveness is, the human joint hasn't evolved, so they're putting more torque than prior athletes have.
yeah, I've always said too. I mean, and this will never happen because they're just like the NFL is. They're trying to add games. The NBA is not gonna reduce the amount of games, but I think, man, to make it that when we're seeing it now, like Ben Simmons, while he wasn't running away with it, he was a clear all-star during the regular season, and then last season he was hard. Like he looked like for real. They should have. I mean, Danny Green going down hurt him too, but like, man, it's like Mike Scott might have been better playing. And to me, I think if they would, I know this will never happen, like I said, but if they reduce the games from, I assume next season they're going to go back to 82 games. They will reduce it to like 65 or something.
Well,
and
can I disagree a minute though, bro? Like, why do you say it's impossible?
Spread the games out and like give everybody the proper rest. Motherfuckers should be playing 35 minutes a game. I mean, I know a lot of the superstars, but like, it just baffles me that some of these guys get so much rest. It really does.
I couldn't agree more. But the one thing I do disagree about is, there could be somebody that comes along that's a game breaker and invests so much money in a TV deal, but they say we want fewer games, determining that those games would have more value. Because you're right, they'll never reduce the amount of games as long as they get that revenue, because more tickets, more shit sold in the arenas, but let's say a forward-thinking TV provider came along and offered them a significantly larger contract that would offset the loss of that revenue under the condition that they have less games. I mean, you never know who might come along and change it.
Yeah. The only problem with that, though, on the flip side, is from what I heard this season, and like I said, I didn't see it for myself. I think I heard it on a pod or something, or maybe I just briefly saw a headline. But like TV viewership is down again. Yeah. So but
they said they gonna if they can figure out how to monetize like the social media interactions with the clips, and it can make up for it. So, I mean, whoever knows the real numbers, because the owners, anytime there's a collective bargaining shit coming up soon, right? So they always cry, we're not making as much money as we are. So they got less to put on the table for the players. I mean, that's how that shit. I mean, that's labor negotiations in general.
Yeah, I just love to see a more competitive regular season.
No, I agree, bro. I wish it was like that. I feel like when you watch that FIBA World Cup or even the Olympics, when the players are suitably rested, like the level of basketball is higher. I mean, I know you remember them Argentina games with Ginobili and what was homeboy on the Bulls that was all like a blower against the Wizards? Was it Scola? Nocioni. Nocioni, bitch ass. Yeah. But yeah, like some of those Argentina US games, that was high level basketball.
There was a clip I saw that like it must have been that game or a game between the US and Argentina where Kobe was in it. And they have audio of Kobe. I forgot what he said. He was talking shit, but it wasn't even that. It was very mild shit. But he said something to Nocioni in Spanish. And he was like, yo, use your English. You speak much better in English. Like, Nocioni got right back at him. He's like, yo, stop trying to talk to me in Spanish, bro. Your English is like, your Spanish sucks.
Oh yeah, they had no fear. Hey, speaking of funny stories, this week we've been hearing about the coaching searches, and they keep bringing up Kara Lawson. Do you remember when we played basketball with Kara Lawson?
Of course.
And do you remember when she told me she got mad at me one time for doing something? I forgot, like I passed to the wrong person or some shit. And then later on in the game, I made a jumper. And at the time, I was like probably 3-something. And she was like, good shot, fat boy.
Yeah.
You remember that shit?
Yeah.
And I ain't gonna front, man. I got petty in me. Every time I used to see her on them Wizards games, I used to be like, well, I'm not even gonna say nothing, but I feel health-wise, I'm doing a little bit better.
Yeah.
And that brings me satisfaction. I ain't gonna lie. But yeah. But she was good though. I remember she was scoring. Tony Nylander was up there. For those who ain't in the know, somebody who was good enough to play D1 college basketball, and she was certainly competitive.
Yeah,
she crossed somebody.
Yeah, I mean, she was definitely like the shortest player on the. Well, was she shorter than you? Like,
Yeah, she's short me. I ain't short like that. Shit. Average height for a white male in America is 5'7", and I'm 5'10".
yeah,
I'm above
I
average
remember
height.
that.
My wife always want to call me short too, and I must be because that shit bothered me. To keep it real. Yeah, motherfucking Carol. Hey, I gotta ask you though. Hey, did you? Hey, anybody watch this? This man used to shoot hook shots and make them jumps with regularity. Did you give him the hook that day?
Probably, man. I try to always get one hook in there, man. That's why I fucking Robin Lopez, man. I hope we resign him.
Hey, bro, I don't know why when you did it when Robin Lopez do it, for some reason that shit's just a sicer. Like somebody made a hook, it makes motherfuckers happy and shit.
Oh, I stand up and clap when I see somebody do a hook shot. Especially it's when somebody that doesn't do it on the regular do them shits. I'm trying to think of somebody I saw do it, but like if a guard or somebody hook, I'm like I stand up and clap.
Hey, but you know they only do the over the shoulder hook. You know what I want to see is when they do the drop step pivot hook. That's the shit to take touch, like that old Robert Parrish shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Ain't nobody going back to that sky hook. But you know, I want to feature lists in our show because you was talking about man, people like lists, but I want to do different kinds of lists. So you can give me your thoughts on these. I'm sure you can probably chime in with some. But something you said about players complaining made me think, you know, I love D Wade, right? But to the end of his career, I felt like he took an extra 3 minutes of the game arguing with referees. And you said something about you can't stand when they don't get back complaining. And I feel you, like I don't like the competitiveness of that. You know what I'm saying? So and this ain't just the only reason, but I made a list of players I wouldn't want to play with. I mean, and obviously I'd be honored to play with any of them. But you know, if I had my choice and I was like, you know, the best motherfucker in the world. And my list was Chris Paul, Luka. With Luka's case, just because he has the ball too much. Like I'd want the ball more. And like he works well with people that can shoot. In my game, I ain't never have no jumper, so I wouldn't fit in well with Luka.
Yeah.
I same Trae Young, same thing. You know, ain't no way I'm gonna run the one over him, and I can't shoot jumpers like that, so it wouldn't be fun for me to play with Trae Young, and I wouldn't have much to offer him. Gordon Hayward, and I ain't trying to be funny, but I feel like if you've been his teammate over the years, you've just been disappointed a lot. Even like Charlotte this year, like, man, there was a time when they was talking about could they possibly get home court in the playoffs in the East, you know, and like
too, though.
Yeah, I mean, no disrespect to Gordon Hayward, but it just seems like if you're his teammate, you're constantly in a state of disappointment. D'Angelo Russell, for numerous reasons. I'd never forgive him for the Iggy Azalea shit. And then I just wouldn't want to play with him in general because I mean he can pass like a motherfucker, and I thought he was pretty good at Ohio State. That was like one of the last years I watched college basketball. But in the NBA, like bro, I feel like I could probably get 12 on him. Like his defense is atrocious. As much as it pains me to say this, I wouldn't want to play with Russell Westbrook just because I ain't the most balanced individual in the world, and Russell Westbrook could probably beat the shit out of me. And I feel at some point, some of that shit he do at the end of the game, I would say something that went too far, and it would get physical. and then Rudy Gobert, just because he's annoying. Man, I might get in trouble for saying this, but I ain't never liked no French basketball player. Batum's okay. Man, don't leave Tony Parker
What
around.
about Boris? Big Boris.
Boris Diaw, who said I will only have sex with American women. They're not good enough for me to date them. Fuck him. And Tony Parker, don't leave him around your girl. Nah, I'm good. And then Rudy Gobert just seemed annoying in general outside the French shit. And that's a list of the players I wouldn't want to play with. So thoughts, feelings, people you wouldn't want to.
Oh, I got some I wouldn't want to, and they're all like elite basketball players. I agree with some of those, and I also disagree. Trae Young and Russell, I wouldn't mind because they were number 1 and number 2 in assists, so they clearly like to pass the ball.
But you make spot up shots.
Exactly, that's what I want. Yeah, exactly. So that fits in with me, and I mean, for me as a player, all I would want is respect and then for you just not to think that this is a you versus them type shit. It's a team game.
Word.
So I like and Gordon Hayward. I got your point. I get your point about what you said with he's always a disappointment. But yeah, so for me, honestly, and now that you named up mostly guys that are still playing, I was thinking about the first two that came to mind. One of them, R.I.P. Kobe Bryant. I can't. One thing is, and you know what? That's why I'm not going to say LeBron is better than my MJ. I've always liked LeBron because he's a team guy. I fuck with LeBron for that, and it's a team game.
So why not Kobe though?
Kobe and MJ, straight up, I would not want to play with those motherfuckers.
Me neither. I watched Last Dance. Thought the same thing, bro. Yep.
I cannot. I've always had a pet peeve, even when I play soccer, whatever. You as a player, you can yell at me when I'm not hustling, or I made a really dumb play, or even a dumb play. Like there's certain things I think you need to get on your teammates about. But to me, that's a coach's job. The coach should be doing the yelling, not a player. So if you're a player, we're equals to me. Even if you're better than me, you're an equal. So you can't be talking like it'd be like going to work and you guys are both running a cash register and the guy's over there, he can count a little quicker and he's giving you shit. It's like, fuck you. We're the same people. So I already know me and Kobe, me and MJ would not get along because he said anything to me. I'm like, why are you fucking talking to me? To me, that's a coach's job. The coach should be the one. You fucked up. Get your ass on the bench. Not, So those two right there. And then I was actually thinking Allen Iverson for kind of like the same reasons, just not so much because he's an asshole, and I'm sure he probably was to a certain extent. He wasn't as notorious for it, but just because, he's going to take 30 shots a game. And I can't stand running up and down the court. For my type of game, I don't need to take X amount, like a bunch of shots a game. I just need to, give me the ball in a position where I can make a pass, maybe to get an assist. I just need to feel like I'm doing something on offense. Like I could be 15. So if you said, whatever, if all the players are equal as 20%, I could be under 20% of the offense. Like give me 10 to 15. But if I'm I need to have that much to kind of motivate me to play more defense. You feel me? So I know it's kind of crazy to say, but I like MJ and I like Kobe. But those two guys, for sure, I've always said that those two guys would rub me the wrong way, and I'd probably say "fuck you" and we'd be scrapping.
But see, if you did that with MJ, it seemed like his history with that would be he would then respect you and probably be pretty chill with you. But like with Kobe, then it's just you like a homeboy Smush Parker. He just on your ass forever.
Yeah. So
MJ might end up liking you. You might have been cool.
And then. Exactly. Then I probably love playing with him because like I said, as long as he gives me that 10 to 15% of the offense.
Well, you would have been in the triangle, so you would have got that automatically.
Yeah.
Rodman might have blown me just because I wouldn't have liked that towards the end of his career, towards the end of his productive career, that uncertainty. Like that, is he about to play before the game shit?
Yeah. Yeah, that would definitely get on my nerves.
All right, yeah. and then well, I got two things before we get out of here. The last one will be real quick, but I made another list. Everybody make first teams and they talk about they don't like the positions and shit. So I tried to come up with a team that was a little more reflective of what actually goes on of the playoffs thus far, up until what conference final games have happened whenever y'all hear this. So for the playoffs, my first category, I got best center. I picked Jokic, which, that was hard over Embiid, but, I had to go with Jokic and DeAndre Ayton coming on like gangbusters.
He might have been over Embiid, and you could even argue over Jokic. But I feel you.
Then my best non-center big. When I thought of this, I was thinking of a stretch four, but then there ain't really been none that really shined this year in the playoffs, or a real good help side defender, a rebounder. But actually there was Giannis. So I say Giannis is my best non-center big, even though I guess some might argue he's a perimeter player, but it's my list, so whatever. My best wing, as of now, this changed in the last since the conference final started, but it's gotta be Devin Booker. I might have gave it to Paul George. And then I don't know if you look at Luca as a wing, but he might have made the list before the conference finals in a couple of these. But since he ain't got the first round, I feel you got maybe not penalize him, but you got to reward people for winning. Best shooter in the playoffs, typically that'd be like a Steph award or something. But I got to go with Durant, I mean, I'm sure percentage wise he wasn't, but shit, he came through. Best point guard, even though I wouldn't want to play with him thus far, I'd say it has to be CP3. The best six man, as far as impact, shit, I had to go Terrence Mann. Shit. He
40-point game.
If it wasn't for him, a team don't make it to the conference finals. So, he might not have the overall impact, but he had the impact that was needed. And then I put role player, but I define role player more as somebody that's important to their team. They may even be a starter, but they play a specific role. Like a 3-and-D player could be a role player, or Ayton is a role player because they're looking for him to what he does on defense and then the rebound, and then whenever a team tries to go small and like Rudy Gobert, he'll punish him in the post. Like he has specific roles. So my role player, I made it a tie between Capella and Ayton because I think they're just fulfilling their roles to the ultimate. Like I was impressed with Capella when he's getting cooked. He don't lose composure. He keep going hard. And by the end of the game, Embiid's fatigued and he's making timely plays in the fourth quarter. And I respect winning ass shit like that.
Yeah. No, I think yeah, point guard, you got to give it to Chris Paul, but Trey's right behind him. Shooter, I agree. Durant, you could put Trey like as a runner up there. Big man, I was thinking about it. I think it's got to go to Ayton, man. Going through, I know the Lakers were banged up, but
well, you mean best center? Because I had best center and best non-center big. So Ayton would be a best center. I mean, he's got a case. He's got a case.
But man, he's just been like, all right, numbers not everything, but yo, I mean, well, it wasn't completely on Jokic on that sweep. I think Jokic actually played pretty well, but I mean, he was able to, like, without any doubles or anything. And that's almost like when Jokic thrives is on the double team.
Word.
That one's a little tough. I'd go Ayton just because I've been thoroughly impressed. I mean, that draft, how's the draft looking now?
Yeah, I agree. Me too, bro. Ayton is super went up in my rankings. Him and Trae Young, man, they proven a lot.
No. Non-big, yeah, I mean, how can you not go Giannis? The guy just does everything. His free throw shooting has been suspect, but that's like the only. And then I don't even know if that was maybe him not stepping up when he was getting all that shit for not guarding Durant in games. But then game 7, he started guarding him.
Right.
So I don't know if that was on the coach. And whether it's on the coach or not, I feel
sometimes you got to say, fuck the coach. Yeah.
You got to be like, yo, coach, I'm going to take him. And then, I mean, what are you going to like? What would the coach really say besides like, I don't know. So, besides those two knocks, it's got to be Giannis.
I mean, if another potential if it hadn't been for injury, like when I was thinking of this, I was thinking of somebody like Anthony Davis, but obviously he wouldn't qualify. But more in other years, there'd be way more. Like Giannis almost wins by default, but he might have won anyway,
Yeah. And what were the other ones you said? You said swing.
No, next one was swing man, however you want to call it.
And you said what?
I had Booker for the wing.
Yeah.
Like what gave him the edge to me was that he can run the I don't know if you want to say run the point, but run the offense if needed.
Yeah. I mean, he was awesome. Game 1, he had a 40-point triple-double.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's hard to argue. But yeah,
I mean, you can say Paul George, you can say Luka. Again, like the only reason Luka ain't make my list is because he ain't get out the first round.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah.
Go ahead, my bad.
Most of those, except for the ones that I just, like I said, the big, and then it's hard not to put CP3 because he's been awesome, but Trey has been awesome.
All right, so then there's 3 you ain't touched. Score, I put Trey.
Score?
Yeah, just pick however you get them points.
He showed it off the most, I feel like, in that first series. Man, he looks, I mean, Luka's tough to guard, but man, this guy Trae Young's floater game and then 3-point game, And then the fact that if you guard like the floater, then he can just flip it up usually to Capella for a dunk. I mean, obviously Durant would be a close second, but I think kind of almost because they made it further, you got to go with Trey.
And then, like I said, I did it up to this point, so we have game 1 in the books. That was historic. You know, that was the most points a player ever had in his first conference finals game,
Really?
by 7, 48. So, you know, that was historic. And he threw an alley-oop off the backboard in this fucking first conference finals game ever. I mean, talking about cojones, boy, that dude don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Fun fact, real quick. You know, the Wizards are now the team that have the longest gap to making a conference final in all of the NBA.
I didn't know that, but that don't surprise me.
Yeah.
I'm afraid it's going to get a little bit longer, barring some miracles. But, you know, we might be looking good in the last half of the decade, early 2030s. Yeah. It's going to take a while to clear that cap. You know, I'm not even being pessimistic. That's a realistic timetable.
Another side note on that side note, I have a pet peeve when you see a headline, whether you hear it from a fucking announcer during the game or you see it on a headline of pick your favorite sporting news, provider. They say, "Oh, Atlanta Hawks beat Sixers. First time in Eastern Conference Finals since 2015. Bitch, that was 6 years ago.
Yeah.
No damn since 2015. Man, let me know when it's been 20 years or more, or don't mention that fucking stat. I hate that shit. They do that all the time. They'll be like, oh, you know, like what? The Suns, whatever. The Suns were probably, 2006 or something? Maybe a little bit later. They've made it, that's kind of on the borderline of being like, but like, if it hasn't been, like, I'll even say fucking 10 years. But if it's been under 10 years, don't say since like 6, 7, 8 years. Fuck off. That pisses me off. It's like a slap in the face to all like the deadbeat. It's an extra kick in the nuts.
Bro, I feel you. I don't like the championship drought because, technically the Bullets won a championship in my lifetime, but I think I was like 6 months old or some shit. So like I don't want to hear about how you ain't win a championship in 15. Because I remember when that last Detroit team won, how they was talking about how they ain't won it since 1989. I'm like, man, motherfucker, they ain't won it since my life.
I know. Exactly. I hate those stats. I'm like, come on, man. Like when the Red Sox, that's a fucking curse. Like the Browns, like, you know what I mean? Like let's talk about teams that has been over at least 20 years. Like, otherwise don't bring it up.
Hey man, this is gonna be the last side note, but have you ever wondered how they get so much cocaine into Cleveland? Because goddamn, cocaine has fucked a lot of motherfuckers up that's played for Cleveland teams. Sean Kemp, Johnny Manziel.
Bitching, but I know that man Cameron used to talk about it a lot, and he might know something. So if you ever get him on, man, you gotta ask him.
Yeah, man, it's like they curse. They should be the Cleveland White Lions and shit, but that's neither here nor there. And then the other two was just the 6 man and the role player. And Terrence Mann, to be real with you, I struggle with that one. There ain't been no real, because like Jordan Clarkson, he had a couple games, but Lou Williams a couple.
Actually, when you were saying that, I'm glad you brought that, because I was gonna almost put, I hate to have all these Suns in there, but they've been playing excellent. Campaign.
Oh yeah, Campaign. Yeah.
Campaign has been awesome off the bench, man. And especially like when CP3 was banged up against I guess that was the Lakers, or maybe even whatever the first.
It was the Lakers, yeah, with the shoulder. Yep.
Serious, yeah. When he was playing like 26, 27 minutes a game, and then Campaign would take the other shift. And I guess they probably overlapped a little bit. So I thought Campaign might be there, so I put Campaign as my 6th.
And then what about the role player category, which like I said has that pretty broad definition?
Yeah, let me think. You said Capella, right?
Yeah, but like I said, Ayton qualifies for that. I mean, everybody technically has a specific role, but I'm talking about like non offense initiators, non-shot getters who are incredibly important to their team.
Yeah.
Like Bogdanovich might qualify,
I feel like I'm sticking with the same team, but
Crowder,
Bridges.
Yeah.
Let me think, because I want to do a non-Suns. I can
Hey,
even
before
go.
you do that though, you got the Suns win the chip now?
Nah, I still got the Bucks, man. I think the Bucks will still win it. I know that's the chalk, and I said the Nets, and they let me down. I don't know. I mean, it's tough. I still say that because they got Giannis, they got the stone cold superstar still left. So
What if they put Sarge in the game and they just put Sarge on Lopez, which I think he could kind of keep up with him. And but the question is, you think Aiden could keep up with Giannis?
yeah, I know. And I think you had talked about me and you talked about this last time. I don't understand why don't they just run more Giannis at the 5 type stuff, especially against like Ayton, who's not going to get post looks. Like he might get a handful a game, but like he's basically being spoon fed a lot of those points. I have seen him hitting some turnaround jumpers and all that. So maybe I probably need to check the numbers on what I just said, but they're definitely, it's not like a Denver team where you can't put Giannis there because he's literally going to be playing defense every possession.
Well, the thing that I'd be worried about if I was Phoenix would be, I mean, Aiden can theoretically keep up with Giannis in transition, but over the course of the series, would he wear him down and have him too fatigued at the end of the game?
I'm not convinced. Now, CP3 is going to be interesting tonight, but I'm not convinced that the Clippers can't come back.
Even when it looked like Kawhi done.
Yeah. If Kawhi is done, I mean,
they could, but that'd be there would definitely be no more Paul George slander then.
Yeah. Yeah. I hate, man. I always hate picking the chalky, but I still say the Bucks.
Got you. All right. So the last thing before we get out of here, I was just curious. Last time we was talking about exercise and your philosophy on eating pretty much what you want and everything. I was curious, do you supplement at all?
No, I used to, and honestly, I wish I had another barrel of protein. I don't even know. Do you even consider that supplement?
Yeah. It's something that's in addition to your diet. Yeah.
Yeah. So like typically if I get home from the gym directly, I like to make a protein shake with strawberries, bananas, pineapple, whatever a frozen fruit I have in the fridge. I usually throw them all together, throw a scoop of powder in there.
No creatine?
No, I used to dabble in that, but like
that works. That's scientifically validated. It will help with inflammation. The muscle growth shit's some bullshit they tell you, but it does help with inflammation.
It just helps you recover quicker, right?
Yeah, like you get some muscle growth like the first 2 weeks you use it and never again, but it helps with inflammation. I would definitely recommend that.
You have to load up on that. You have to do like a loading phase, right? Where you like,
man, fuck all that shit. Just do the 1 serving of creatine in your shake for the inflammation. The loading shit's bullshit. That's just shit. That's just shit that's designed to make you buy more.
It's funny. I think I do have some supplements in my cabinet, way up top and way in the back, and I'm pretty sure I have creatine. But honestly, I don't supplement. What about you?
Just shit that I've done elimination to figure out what works. The creatine works. The turmeric works for the inflammation. A couple natural shits, but that's just like food preference as opposed to like fitness supplementation. And then because of the COVID shit, they said like 80% of the people were vitamin D deficient. So they say athletic greens, and to be real with you, I couldn't afford the athletic green powders, but they got the vitamin D drop, and it's like $25, and it got 150 servings.
Okay.
So I figure I hedge my bets on the Rona and shit. You feel me? But yeah, that's about it. Because like all the other shit is just a lot of times you don't know what you're getting in it. Like Walmart got caught putting sawdust inside all their supplements on the Walmart brand instead of what you were buying. Anybody don't believe me? Anybody don't believe me? Google it. Look it up.
Like a capsule, they were cutting it basically. Is what you're saying?
Man, they weren't even cutting it. It was all sawdust and like rice powder and shit. And then the other thing is a lot of them like it's soda. I know a lot of words. I don't know how to say them. Pseudoscience, pseudoscience, but it's bullshit. But the creatine and the turmeric is real. It's backed up, and it helps with inflammation. Which if you're lifting weights, you always need help with inflammation.
Yeah, word.
All right, brother. Well, unless you got anything else, that's a wrap. Because much like yourself, I'm trying to go see this game.
Oh yeah, nah, man. That's all I got for today, bro.
All right, well, shit. Nick Parrow, Mark Ward Ward. We'll be seeing you again soon. Super Facts Show, Super Facts Network. Thank you for your time, man.
Peace.
All right, bro. Take it light.
Peace.
The Super Facts Network, home of Gen Pop, SDE, and the Super Facts Show, now available on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts from. Come check out St. Laz, G from the Shop, and Mark Waldo Ward.